Good morning, my YouTube viewers. It is Crystal here. In this particular video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about using R's inbuilt datasets. So R has datasets inbuilt into it, so you can practice with R and study R, and you don't have to hunt around to get datasets. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to show you how you can load our data sets and find out which data sets you can use. So we come over here and you type in library brackets data sets, and you can see that it's running right now. And then so when you type in library data sets, and data, you can see all of the data sets. So you've got air passengers is the first one, and then you can go all the way down to war breaks. You can go all the way down. So you have a very large selection of data sets that you can use to practice on. So that's one good thing about R. And that's the difference between R and Python, whereas R has inbuilt data sets, but Python does not have any inbuilt data sets. You have to go around looking for data sets to use in Python. And the thing is that I'm using Google Colab, and Google Colab has a few data sets built into the program. Not a lot, but a few data sets that are built into the program. I think we can do this. And where it says sample data. So these are just a few data sets that are built into Google Colab that you can practice on. But R has lots of data sets that you can use to practice on. So that's one of the great things about R. And that's a distinction between R and Python. Python does not have any built-in data sets. And the reason why is because it's a general purpose programming language. So there's a library in R called Seaborn, and Seaborn has some built-in data sets that you can use to practice Seaborn. But other than that, you would need to go to another place to get some data sets. And a lot of people go to Kaggle to get Kaggle data sets, and then you have to download the data set to use it. You can also go into GitHub. If you can find a data set in GitHub, then you can use that data set because it's a web address, and you just type in the web address to get that data set. So one of the data sets that is in R that is a very popular data set is the iris data set. So if we come down here, I'll see if I can find the iris data set. Well, the iris data set is in here somewhere. I can't find it. Oh, here it is. Here is the iris data set. So one thing we're going to do is we're going to load up the iris data set so you can see it. So you type in data brackets iris, and then when you type in head iris, then that gives you the first six rows of data. And so the distinction between R and Python is in R, the numbering system starts with 1, whereas in Python, the numbering system starts with 0. So if you're used to using Python, you'll notice that the very first number is always 0. But in R, the very first number is going to be 1. So that's another distinction between R and Python. And then so we've typed in head iris, and so that gives you the first 6 rows of data in that data set. And then so we type in summary iris, and summary gives you the main statistical components of the iris dataset. So it gives you a summary of all 4 columns of data, being the sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width, and the species. So in the first 4 columns of data, you have the minimum number, the first quartile, the median, the mean, the third quartile, and the max. So the median is the value that is at the center of the data set, whereas the mean is the average value. So that's the difference between the median and the mean. And in the Setosa, the species are Setosa, versicolor, and virginica, and you have 50 rows of data or examples for each species. So now what we're going to do is we're going to SGR, that's the structure of iris. So it tells you that iris is a data frame with 150 observations of 5 variables, being the sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, and species. So, and then after we have loaded the iris data set, then what we're going to do is we're going to plot the iris data set. And you may remember from previous videos where we were talking about visualizing the data. So you plot the iris data set as plot brackets iris sepal.length, comma iris petal.length. So you're going to plot on the x-axis the iris sepal.length, and then you're going to plot on the y-axis the iris petal.length, and that gives you a visualization. And you can see that the larger the sepal is, the larger the petal is going to be as well. So that concludes this particular video on how to use R's inbuilt datasets. And so I hope that you found it informative, and I will be covering another video with regard to datasets as well. And so I hope you decide to watch that video too.